minuscule keyboard, and occasionally she dropped her eyes to look at the screen. Kathleen listened politely as the girl explained what she was there for. A school project, she said, researching her family tree. Ah, said Kathleen. And you came to do it the old-fashioned way. She liked that. The girl blinked at her. Kathleen could see that she had tried to camouflage the paleness of her eyelashes by using mascara, and that the mascara had clumped in one corner of her eye. She resisted the urge to tell her about that, and later that night, at home, with the television on, and Lucy, a border collie, though about as far away from the border as you could get, resting on the rug near the fire, that was a choice she regretted. In the same situation, she would have wanted to know. The girl was also wearing, on slightly chapped and cracked lips, a shade of lipstick that was a little bit off. Old-fashioned, Kathleen repeated, instead of online. After a beat, she added, "Good for you," in an approving way, and the girl smiled at that, showing front teeth that seemed too big for her mouth. And then Kathleen saw it, just like that, the resemblance to Susanna. Not in coloring, Susanna was darker, and while Susanna was tall, she wasn't as skinny, as coltish as this girl, even when she had been this age. 14? Younger? Older? But there was something about the mouth, the eyes, the expression, something indescribable. Thus encouraged, Kathleen went on. "Here's where you sign up for a visitor's badge." She pushed the form toward her. Natalie Gallagher, the girl wrote carefully, gripping the pencil harder than she needed to. Kathleen handed her a badge, and the girl, Natalie, put it on. "Now," said Kathleen, "your backpack isn't allowed in. You'll have to put your things in a locker." She pointed. "Then you can meet me in the reading room." The girl slunk off, and returned a moment later, flushing. "It says I need a quarter," she said. "I don't have a quarter. So I put my stuff in the locker, but I couldn't get the key. Will I be able to get my stuff back, without the key?" "No quarter?" Kathleen said. She took her purse from the floor near the desk and rummaged through her wallet. "Here," she said, thrusting one at the girl. "You'd better get the key, just to be safe." "Thank you," said the girl. She had manners. A few minutes later, Natalie appeared in the reading room with a sheet of paper in her hands. She pulled out a chair and sat across from Kathleen and regarded her with a gravity and a seriousness of purpose. They did not get many people this young in the archives. Mostly it was older people, retirees with time on their hands, or people heading to Ireland who wanted to visit the village where their great-great-grandparents were born. Sometimes they got a Girl Scout or Boy Scout troop working on a badge. But a solitary teen? Unusual. Kathleen knew she was probably reaching, but this girl seemed like she had been sent from somewhere else as a messenger of sorts, a visitor from the land of Susanna. Kathleen had worked at the archives for 26 years, since Susanna was a toddler. Part-time at first, because she had to arrange for childcare, and there was a certain point at which the cost of the childcare would be higher than Kathleen's salary. She had to be careful not to reach that point. These were the things she worried about back then. In those 26 years, how many people had come to her looking to research their family trees? Hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe more. She should have counted them. Why hadn't she counted? That would have been an interesting statistic to carry around with her, a way to measure the productivity of her life. She retrieved some scrap paper from the pile and a pencil from the container of pencils and handed them to Natalie. Natalie took them both and tilted the paper at an angle and held the pencil above the paper, looking at Kathleen expectantly, as though this were an exam and Kathleen the examiner. "So," said Kathleen, "what's the assignment exactly?"